Here we've seen rapid advancements in the medications that allow patients to live a fairly normal life, and I think we're at the gasp right now where if you look at the latest news in clinical research, we're probably over the next 5-10 years going to see artificial pancreases or your body making beta cells that basically would cure diabetes. So really exciting times right now, and with a big impact in Japan as well.
That means they're growing a pancreas,
Yeah.
and then putting it in the person, a brand new pancreas.
The same for other organs they're working on, and I was in May at a conference in Palo Alto. We had sessions at Stanford, and that's where they showed that they're actually growing organs already. You know, they're doing it for animals, but in theory, they could do it with stem cells for human beings as well. So that's the direction we're moving.
So pancreas, and you said other organs too. That's huge innovation. And then with diabetes, there's some hope for kind of curing diabetes in the long-term future.
We're making massive strides there. On cancer, oncology, we've seen certain cancers, like skin cancers, with multiple survival rates right now than you had maybe a decade ago or so. So you have the whole area of IO, immuno-oncology, where treatments have come out for liver cancer, different types of lung cancer, that give patients either into remission or have them being the cancer staying stagnant and not growing anymore, so staying at the same size. So there's some massive improvements we've seen in the last decade in that. So
digitalization could save them tons of time and do tons of stuff faster.
I mean, digital exists along the whole value chain. You have in life science, and most pharma companies are using AI to do drug discovery these days. So you use an AI engine to go through clinical data, patient data you have to see if there's any dependencies or effects on that would be beneficial to treat different kinds of diseases. So we use that for drug discovery, but also on the commercial side, when you look into marketing or sales organizations of pharma companies or medtech firms, do a lot of work in digital marketing. What kind of digital tools can you use to equip your sales force to be more efficient and to grow your product? So a lot of exciting projects in that space right now.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, it really sounds huge for all those different areas to pull data from and have AI, AI processing and looking for similarities, like compared to without it, you only have a certain area or data set from what the practitioner has, and then now it could be huge.
That's what it's all about. It's about real world evidence, and that's being used very successful in Western markets like Europe or the US or Australia, also Singapore. There's some Asian countries who do that really well. In Japan, we still struggle with that a little bit because the government has been trying to implement patient health records or electronic patient records, but because of privacy laws, but also the cost associated with that, and how to create a unique identifier for patients, that has really been, we're still in its infancy in Japan, but I anticipate that we're going to see massive changes here.
Yeah, but that's exciting. Like, what huge change your organization can help to bring to that area. That's really massive, and such an important area too. I wanted to ask you a little bit also outside of the innovation area about your team. So I wanted to ask you as a partner and somebody that's had a lot of experience in consulting, what motivates you to lead your team, and or what is it you really love about your work?
It's teamwork. So every project you have to build, you have to create a team to do that project or that initiative, and you get to work with people who have a variety of backgrounds and a variety of characters. So in our unit or our part of the business, as anywhere in consulting, we have people who have a really great scientific background who might be really good at data analytics. We have people who are really good at strategic thinking, people who really understand the healthcare environment here, how reimbursement or pricing is being handled. Right. And so a variety of backgrounds, a variety of characters, and I think having that diversity is what makes it exciting, because every time you pull a team together, there's a different dynamic. And you go through the old, storming, norming, and you get to work together for the first time, and you have to get used to working with people from different backgrounds and different characteristics. So exciting stuff. My first boss told me, be passionate about what you do, and I have a big passion for consulting, and consulting in life science especially. Be compassionate with your co-workers, and be nice. Just be nice to everybody, and it doesn't cost you anything. And you build some teams. You build a team of individuals with whom you work around you who like working with you because you're a nice person.
Yeah.
And that's when you see loyalty, and that's where you also, if you go into recruiting, it's not always about money. Equally as important as the work environment, as you want to know, is there chemistry between that candidate and the company with that work. And I think that's equally as important as how much you get paid, what your salary and bonus is. Looking at a company you want to work for, you need to like the people.
Yeah, I've known you for a couple of years, and then I've heard from both people that worked for you and people that worked with you that you're a really good partner to work with or work for. So I think that comes from the good culture area.
Yeah, I think as a consultant you need to be passionate. You can't be very, very quiet, and I had to learn that. I used to be a very quiet person. People are really, I really used to be a very quiet person. I had to learn on how to communicate with people with different backgrounds, and that's something you can learn. But you need to have that passion for a job. Being part of that change in the industry for the past 20 years now, that you see there's certain diseases, certain conditions that 10, 20 years ago were uncurable, like hepatitis C, which has been completely erased in most Western societies, advanced societies, now because of new drugs that came to the market, and that's just something that makes you feel good and passionate to see we are part of working together with pharma companies, medtech companies to help them solve or cure diseases, and that's something that gets me out of bed every morning.
I wanted to ask also to kind of help people, what's important for somebody to get hired into your unit or hired into consulting in general?
I think that's something that has really also changed over the last decade or so, where we had usually a standard profile for candidates, but I think for the base capabilities you need to have to become a good consultant is quantitative thinking, problem solving, that you enjoy doing quantitative work and analytics, work with large data sets, use Excel. I think of some of the core skills as a consultant, use PowerPoint, and other suites of software, such as R or analytic software, to really, at the beginning of your career, probably where you're going to spend the most part of is running data analysis. And then you move on to a more senior role where you deal directly with a client, and you have to communicate with the client. And I think now it's having a really good quantitative skill background, and also knowing how to communicate with your clients, because it doesn't really help if you come up with an answer to a problem you're trying to solve and then not get buy-in from the client that that's actually the right answer. So you need to have both skills. So it's solving a problem and then communicating to the client or your clients what that is, and they completely buy into it and use it to create value.
in that quantitative area, that most people are doing when they first join, and then they have to do more with the communication side, working with the client. It's different in each unit, right? Like, I mean, I know there's a standardization for those rules, but it depends on the unit and how big it is, how much somebody's just doing the analysis part, and how much they're involved in the pitching to the client or communicating with the client on what the solution's going to be.
Yes, so it depends a little bit on what kind of industry sector or offering or service line you work in.
Okay.
And I wasn't a great math genius, so I'm not Mr. Analytics here, but I had to learn the basics, and like anybody has, and especially if you work in our unit. But there's a lot of other areas like IT or technology consulting. I think it's also partially true that you really need a quantitative background, but it's following instructions, communicating with the client to implement new systems, ERP systems such as SAP, Oracle, or new digital analytics platforms. So you need to have, in some areas of the business, a really good understanding about technology and IT. So it depends on what you want to do. And we do the whole range of starting with IT, technology consulting, ERP systems, going through supply chain improvement, the middle, basically of the company, and then working with the client or customer-facing groups within our clients, like sales, marketing, MSLs, and on that side, I think it becomes more important that you know how to do analytics, because you're going to do a lot of surveys of physicians, of patients. You're going to do patient segmentation, physician segmentations, and for that you do surveys. You use marketing firms to do the surveys for you, and you do direct interviews with Japanese healthcare practitioners, doctors, nurses, co-medical. So that's for me is also an interesting part of the job, where I get to talk to healthcare professionals and from different specialties, and learn a lot that way. And that's also, I think, a lot what some of my colleagues find really attractive about this job, that you get exposed to a lot of different people in the whole healthcare ecosystem. And sometimes there are problems you can't solve quantitatively. So you find an answer to a problem by just talking to people.
We spoke a little bit about what are some important things to get hired into your unit, or maybe consulting in general. And then what do you think are some of the most important benefits for people to work at EY?
I think, well, there's several reasons. I think the biggest one is that we're growing really dramatically, really, really high growth rates, as I said, especially across the whole company, but especially in my unit. And so there's really good opportunity for your career success. If you're part of a company that grows rapidly, you get promoted normally faster, and that should make candidates happier, that they have the opportunity coming in, taking a responsibility at a very early stage of their career, and then getting promoted quite rapidly if they prove themselves on projects.